Hey, I want to talk about some business stuff. Let's debate some stuff. Let's go over some things that are happening. It is summertime. We are pretty busy, but it is also back to school. It's an election year. Is the economy going to crash? All of these stupid little things that are happening around the world. Does it affect your business? Is it real? Is it something that's just an excuse? Let's kind of really get into this, okay? So before this started, me and Eamon here were kind of talking, and back to school. Does that do anything, okay? So it is beginning of August. Where are we at? We're at August 7th, okay? My kids go to school next week. Other school districts might go to school this week. So it's these 2 weeks that are very strange and weird, okay? This week is slightly slower in some ways, and then what looks like on the schedule for next week is looking like next week is potentially going to be pretty slow. Now, is that something that you're seeing for school? I don't know where you're at in your area, when school starts, but I want to hear this thought. So he had a great point, and say that again.
So I guess the whole sort of I guess dilemma or debate that we're having, correlation does not equal causation, right? So the whole debate that we're having is, it's back to school, things are kind of ramping up. People are having to, get their kids into activities, worry about, taking them to school again, potentially, doing back to school shopping, just like generally otherwise occupied.
Supplies.
Exactly. So I guess, is that something that is going to translate into people are too busy for, to get furniture removal? Or is that, does that really correlate at all? Because you could argue that our clientele is mostly older people. That's typically who we're dealing with, is people who are, downsizing, moving into assisted living facilities. They're physically unable to, donate some of this furniture or move it around in their home. That's kind of where we're here to help with. But, how much of an effect essentially is the, back to school, is that really having on the business, if at all, which is, I think, kind of debatable. Because on the one hand, a lot of parents are having to deal with, like I said, taking kids to school, buying stuff, this, that, the other. But on the other hand, our primary sort of clients, our biggest customer base, older folks, they're not really having to deal with any of that. So it's kind of, it's hard to say, what's actually affecting it. Is this just a, slow week because, that's the way fate would have it? Or are there other things going on? Like, do we need to, reach out more to some of our other sort of, customer bases that we have, or, is this just kind of the way it is?
So I want to talk about this a little bit, okay? So I've been prepping for August in ways, because even my marketing agency has told me, hey, August is kind of like a less month for all the Google reach outs, all the Google clicks, the Facebook stuff.
So historically, you're saying, historically August is slower?
That's what he says.
Okay.
From his from all the companies that they service.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
not just me, just all the companies that they service, that August is some reason it's like a lull month, okay? Now, I don't know what that is and what that means, because all I can do is go off of the data that we have from our company, right? So from our data from last year, we had a spurt in August, and then that spurt maintained through September and October, all right? That is what is showing from our data from last year. Now, I am not really one to believe, I don't think that who runs any kind of like political office really affects my life in those kind of ways. Now, there's things that can like obviously spark a market crash. There's like always that whatever, but nothing's really happened, right? We already went through COVID. There was essentially some sort of crash, even though we waited for like an actual recession to like hit. Nothing really did, other than the COVID stopping of work and all the problems that came from that, right? And obviously all the inflation that's happening right now, prices are through the roof. all that stuff, right? But I ultimately don't see that as a problem in the business. We've been growing all the way through it. It has been something that we have been able to raise our prices through. It's something that I've been able to not only acquire more customers, I've been able to hire more employees, I've been able to pay higher salaries, I've been able to do all this stuff to make this happen. So now when I see what's happening this week and next week, right? So it's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week.
Yeah.
I'm not usually booked out for multiple weeks. Mm-hmm. Now I get people scheduling things out, obviously. So I have work that is scheduled out for past this week, obviously. But usually at this point in time, there's something that's there to kind of go off of for next week, right? So as of now, for next week, we have one job. So what does that mean? Okay, so are we doing something? Is it something that we're not doing? Is it something that I'm not seeing? Because ultimately, we're still doing the same, going to furniture stores.
Yeah.
We're still doing the same, going to all the assisted living facilities. We're still doing all the same, reaching out to these realtors. And then we even have a topic that we're going to talk about a little bit later in another video where we're talking about churches, okay? So we have lots of things that are always in the works, but the way that referrals work, right, is until that referral is needed, you're not needed, right?
I think you make a really great point that we're very good about staying consistent with, with our reach outs as far as the different
Marketing,
industries. As far as the different industries that we reach out to, assisted living. I guess one of the things that I'm also just thinking about is what you said with the referrals. We're like a really big referral based business, and what that means is word of mouth is huge, right? Mm-hmm. So previous customers are talking about us, and as well as furniture stores. I mean, that's probably, what would you say, that's like where 80% of the business is coming from, probably, is those furniture stores?
Yeah. Well, it's less now. It's like 70% at the moment, because our other things are expanding.
Yeah.
But yes, that is a huge thing. You have to meet my cat Charlie. Yeah. She's a little tiny cat.
If people aren't going into furniture stores and buying new furniture and having a need to get rid of their old furniture, that's going to have, I feel like, a pretty serious impact on the business.
Yes. And now, but the thing is like, this is what I hear this all the time. I go into furniture stores, I talk to them, they tell me when they're slow or when they're busy or when they're seeing stuff. And right now, or at least all through July, it was slow. I was hearing a lot of slow. Well, it's not strange. That's when people are traveling. That's when people are, going on vacation and spending time with their family, going to Elitch's or, these other things rather than necessarily shopping for furniture, right? But then you go into right now, right? So we're in August. So what's happening? So furniture stores, let's just clear this up too. They don't always have the furniture right there on hand. A lot of the stuff you order and it comes in between 8 and 12 weeks afterwards, right? So if you're dealing with high-end stores, most of it is special order. If you're dealing with big box stores like American Furniture Warehouse, Furniture Row, those ones have a lot of stock right now. So it's less of the special orders, but at the same time, it's prevalent, right? So we are in August. What is 12 weeks away from now? What is 2-3 months away?
What, 2-3 months away from right now?
From right now.
Halloween, Thanksgiving.
Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas is all coming right around the corner, right? So if you are... Okay, well, the guys are back. But if you are... thinking about furniture, you're probably buying now for the winter time. So you're buying now for Thanksgiving and expecting the people at your house for these holidays, right? But this stuff isn't coming in until November, October, somewhere around there, right? In preparation for that. Now, the people that are like last minute, there's a lot of that stuff. Those guys buy for the right now, that kind of stuff. And those are the quick flips, right? So the period that we're in right now, especially in this 2-week period where everybody's going back to school, you made a great point that most of our clients are older. So like that doesn't affect grandma and grandpa. For me, like my age group for kids, I'm not calling someone like myself to come and take my furniture. I'm going to do it myself. But the thing is like, I'm not my ideal client. So granted, there are people that are using us that are my age, but they are the people that are just like hands off. They don't want to deal with it. Just get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
So, but does this stuff actually matter, right? Does the time frame of the year now, like obviously you have to prep now for winter, but now is not winter. Now is summer. And we are still towards the end of summer. Essentially, suck it up, get to work, go out there, get some more things. If like you're seeing this kind of thing, which, does it concern me to be a little bit slow? Sure. But at the same time, like, as long as I'm making payroll, as long as I can pay myself, as long as we're staying in the positive, even though it might be a little bit of tight at the moment, it's just a small window, right? How am I going to use this to prepare for the winter? How am I going to use this to prepare for the future? Like all of these, even this little conversation that we're having right now, even though it might not actually be super progressive in a lot of ways, because I don't have like fine details in front of me. I'm not like going over every single number of everything. This is just a thought process, right? Going through your business, fine combing things, referring your previous years, going over it, reflecting, all of that matters. But the ultimate thing is your consistency. What you do matters. If you don't do it, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. So you got to be able to you got to be able to suck it up. All right. For me, all of this really looks at is, man, I messed up this weekend and didn't answer a lot of phone calls. But at the same time, like that happens. It is me answering phones. I am one person, and when I have 30 I had like 30 emails, 30 voicemails that I missed. And I was just like, how did I miss those? But it happened, and I'm dealing with the consequence of things. Now, is that saying that next week is going to be slow just because I only have one job scheduled? We're going to find out. Am I really too worried about it? Not really, because I'm just going to be extra on top of my calls and all that stuff this week. Now, I can't incentivize others to like be filling out my forms and being a warm lead to where they're going to, reach out to me. But at the same time, as long as I'm being consistent, the business can be consistent. If I'm going to add things on there, we got to consistently add it on there, and it's just going to keep on going. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you have a different perspective? Do you think that all this stuff matters in your business? I think it does in ways, but I don't think overall it does. You need to be responsible for yourself. When you have a consistent manner, you're going to see consistent results.